investing, finance, and professional development. So recording time of exactly 8:08 a.m. on the Central European Time. Ethereum contract $3,340, about 0.35% so far. As you can see clearly on the overall crypto market, across the spectrum is relatively flat to up at the moment. With respect to some altcoin, a little bit more, I guess, on the bearish side of the spectrum. But collectively, we're relatively just, cool as a cucumber, as a typical Sunday, as a obviously shifting to the international side of the spectrum. And obviously, I've landed to Paris, so I'm recording on a relatively different time zone, 6 hours difference. So I'm assuming that most of the people that are watching right now on the East Coast are dead asleep at the moment. So hopefully, I'll catch you when you wake up in the morning. And collectively speaking, I would say on the media front, despite the collective, I guess, volatile last week, if you take a recap on what happened last week on Monday, we had the anticipated pressure ahead of the FOMC meeting that we were hearing from Jerome Powell on his testimony on the economic outlook going forward, right? We have heard from both the CEO of Jamie Dimon at JP Morgan and at the same time the equity strategist from Goldman Sachs on their bullish economic outlook going forward. And that gave us some buying pressure on Monday. And then subsequently on Tuesday, we also heard from Jerome himself on the tapering timeline, the interest rate hikes. It seems like collectively the Wall Street expectations aligns with Jerome's depictions during that meeting, and subsequently allows for market confidence to regain that bullish momentum. And then subsequent to that, on Wednesday, as we also heard from the CPI report, that the numbers also aligns despite the historical record miss, right? But if you're not that off from the needle on in terms of Wall Street expectations, you typically get that net positive effects from the market sentiment and subsequently drive some buying pressures from there. And then subsequently on the PPI report that came out, obviously on the producers price index, the number was a little off, right? But knowing the fact that we have experienced a collective 3 days of consecutive buying pressures, the market was looking for some sort of logical reasons to take profit. And at the same time, the market was relatively inflated at the time, right? If you look at the index front, it subsequently triangulate into more of a sell-off. And then subsequently, you saw some sort of a correctionary momentum, especially on the equity side. And then on Friday, we kind of normalized from there. So this weekend, and I think we collectively deserve some sort of flat to stabilized days ahead of the weeks coming. So in addition to that, obviously on a macro perspective, let's just dive into the news real quick to see if there's anything that's worth mentioning. I have my setup, as you can see. I don't know if I can show you properly, but I have my MacBook in front of me. I don't have my dual screen that I typically have in front of me, but I do have my MacBook. Not my MacBook, my iPad that's next to me that I link to all my news sources. So I'm just taking a look at the news real quick. So apologies if my setup is not the most, and also you could hear the background noise because I'm doing this in a living room at the moment. So obviously I woke up earlier to get myself ready. Obviously have my cup of coffee, but my family is getting ready. So apologies if you hear people walking around or the water and stuff like that because it's a relatively close proximity across the space that we're living in. So just take a look at the news real quick. So with respect to the crypto of 12 hours ago, talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum begin to slow rebound as Terra nears Dogecoin and Polygon surge. So this is talk about the lag effects across the crypto market, which makes sense, right? As you see some market sentiments on crypto buying opportunities, and you typically see either the stable coins or the key coins start to surge first, and then subsequently the altcoin will follow. And it seems like based on the collective experience that we've seen so far across the market, and as you know, altcoins are typically more volatile compared to regular coins. So you could see that at the moment, some of the coins that we see in front of us right now are surging quite nicely, right? Like Cardano is up about 6.5%, Solana is up about 2.6%, while respectively, on the more of the regular side of the spectrum is relatively just flat at the moment, up about 0.43%. So I understand why that is, and this is just another translation into the market sentiments, right? It seems like people are more comfortable with respect to crypto investments at the moment, and they typically would be buying something that's a little bit more less price sensitive in terms of the entry price level in comparison to the regular coin. So this is a lag effect that we typically have observed collectively in the past. So, and I think what's going to happen subsequently is going to be, we might see some corrections coming from the altcoin, and then subsequently will allow and incentivize some sort of like a monetary rotation back into the key coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, respectively. And on a technical front, I think it checks out as well. If you look at Ethereum right now, you could see clearly forming a golden cross. At the same time, we're relatively oversold at the 42 out of 70. So yeah, I would think that based on the stabilization that we're seeing and the reversals that we're confirming at the moment on the technical front, we are seeing a rebound, and I do foresee the bullish momentum coming. In addition to that, look at the next one on my news. Bazinga about 12 hours ago, talk about Bored Ape NFT. 97.98 just sold for about $335,000 in Ethereum. So this is another picture of a monkey selling for approximately north of obviously $250,000. Interesting. And then the last one that I'm seeing that's really substantive, that's really worth mentioning is with respect to Bazinga. Talk about the it seems like there is a bullish pattern that's being formed at the moment. So this is a technical related analysis that they talk about on Bazinga. So let me just dive straight into the technical analysis with respect to recording time again at 8:15 a.m. on Central European time. Ethereum is currently trading $3,340, up about 0.5%. And with respect to the overall crypto market, again, relatively flat to up at the moment, with some more buying opportunity across the spectrum in the altcoin side of the house, as we mentioned, because of that lag effect. And as we can see collectively, based on the news that we've been talking about so far, despite the volatile last week that we've had already, I would say we're just gliding away. So nothing really worth mentioning on the media front in terms of any specific influential affectation that will stir into the psychology of the market. So right now, what we try to get up to right now is basically in between the walls. We're basically consolidated exactly at the 3,340, which is the level that identified as a consolidated level. So it's either we go back down to the 3,158 or go up to the 3,470. And I think the momentum that we're at right now, because of the consolidation that we have, I would give that benefit of the doubts that we'll actually have a better shot going up to the 3,472 in comparison to 3,158. And with respect to Bitcoin right now, we consolidate at a comfortable level again, right? The 43,200. So it's either we go down to the 40,000 or go up to the 47. And based on the consolidated level that we've had, we have a golden cross. At the same time, we're relatively depleted on the RSI front at the 40 out of 70. So I would actually give that a higher probability of 65% north of going up back to the 48. And I think that's a better. I think that's more logical than actually coming back down because of the fact that firstly we have a downward wedge, and secondarily because of how oversold we are. In respect to Dogecoin at 18 cents right now, at the moment at the 40 out of 70, so it's a lot more tolerable than days before when we were surging all the way to the 21.48. That was like the all-time high. I tried to test basically when we were at the December 14th of that previous surge. So right now I would say it's relatively still, at the neutral level. It's not the best, not the worst. I would still touch this around like 1530 to below from here. Cardano is up about 6% at the moment. We broke above the 134, which was the level that I identified so far. So it's either we come back down to 120 or 136, right? And I think right now with the 54 out of 70, I wouldn't touch this at the moment. I think the risk versus reward ratio is not really in your favor. So I would still ideally touch at the 119 from here. So Lano is currently up about 2.22% so far. The current level right now is either we go up to the 155 or come back down to 133. But again, for me, because I'm again more of a conservative investor, I'll take that as a more of a risk-averse mindset by going back down to 133, 113 from here. So I'll ideally buy up the 133 to 113 from here. I wouldn't really touch it at that moment. XRP is up about 0.22% at the moment right now at the 78 cents. And the momentum right now is basically bouncing from the 69 from the previous lows that we've seen in during the volatile weeks that we've incurred so far. At the 78 right now, we're basically consolidated on a comfortable level, and we have a propensity to go that way. So I think either we go up to 88 or go back down to 69. I think right now, because of the fact we're forming a golden cross at the same time, this looks like a downward wedge, which is a bull flag at the same time. 43 out of 70. We have a better shot going to 88 than 69 from here. Polkadot is up about close to 3%, 28.06 right now. And I think right now I would not touch this because it's 52 out of 70, so it's overbought. At the same time, I'll wait until we come back down to below 23.50 to below to 21.94 from here. Algorand's up about 0.65%. With respect to current level right now, it's up about 1.4. So again, the better level would be somewhere around like the 136 to below. So I would start incurring risk around 135 to 125 from here with the 43 out of 70. We just formed a def cross recently, so that's why we were selling down so dramatically. At the same time, right now, we're just going to try to get momentum, so it's going to take some time to recuperate. So I wouldn't touch this right now. I would touch it somewhere around, again, 135 to 125 from here. Shiba Inu is down about 0.36%. At the moment, it's at the 3,000. I wouldn't touch this until we go back to below the low 2,000s, and then subsequently the 1,400 and then the 900 from there. And I will risk dollar cost average from there in the same respective risk management level that we identify. MACTA is down about 0.6%. Trading flat right now is basically contemplating, do we go back below $2 or go up to be above 250? I think right now, because of the fact that we're relatively overbought at the 51, I would not really chase this. I would wait until 175 to 143 from here. AVAX up about 0.5%. 80 to 60 better level for us. Not right now. Right now is the basically overbought at the upper echelon of the neutral. Luna is down about 2%. At the moment right now, 62, 52, 45 from here to 56 out of 70. So again, not the best level, not the most ideal level for you to incur risk. In respect to risk management level, these are the levels identified so far. So feel free to use this as your frame reference. Again, this is my conservatism, it's my perspective in terms of how I want a dollar cost average. So let me know if you have any questions. Obviously, I'm a different time zone in Paris. I'm not in New York, so apologies if I have communication difficulty. But feel free to directly reach out to me on my Patreon if you have any specific questions. And obviously, I'm always responsive with respect to my comment section. So also, I have a SIM card in Paris, so I actually am okay communicatively without much hurdle or hiccups. So let me know how it goes. Have a good day and take care. Bye.